Hello, I'm Tara Brabazon. I'm the Dean of Graduate Research at Flinders University, and welcome to vlog 258. If not now, then when? This vlog comes via request from Julie. Hi Julie, a long-term friend of this vlog series, and I wish you so much love, Julie, and a big hello to all our great colleagues in the wonderful city of Vancouver, one of my favourite cities in the universe. So hi to everyone in Vancouver, big hi to all our friends in Canada as well. And Julie challenged me to use this phrase that I'd mentioned in an earlier vlog. I'd sort of thrown it away, and Julie said, no, I want you to focus on that phrase for me. And of course, when I came to develop this failure trilogy, this was the ideal end to these sessions, because today I'm not dealing with success or failure. I'm not dealing with the past or the present. I'm dealing with you in the now and the decisions that you make. If not now, then when? Now that phrase can be incredibly cliched, I know, but it can also be, as I'm using it today, a slogan to action. So if you today, you are looking at me, looking at this vlog, and you're stuck, hi, if you're a bit traumatized, if you're not sure what's going on, if you're not really sure if you're going to continue this higher degree one more day, hi, is that you? If you're lost, if you're confused, if you need something to hook you out of this moment and move you forward, then today is the vlog with that job. Let's see if I can do it. If not now, then when? Now this was a throwaway that I used in an earlier vlog, and Julie wanted more, and indeed she was great for asking me to do this heavy lifting, because this phrase really does have an incredible history. The saying was reported to have been first delivered from Hillel the Elder, the great scholar, the great sage, the great Jewish philosopher. And he's also known for saying the other remarkable phrase that I also have a tendency to use a lot, which is, say not when I have free time, I will study, for you may never have free time. What a legend. And what I love about this is I do love, when I look at the history of these words and phrases, is that Emma Watson, as in that Emma Watson quoted Hillel, but did not confirm where the quote had come from. So this then meant that sort of public figures like Ivanka Trump started to quote Emma Watson rather than the original. And of course it's been misattributed to Ronald Reagan, to Robert Kennedy, and then of course the legendary John E. Lewis, respect, added his reflection, if not us, then who? If not now, then when? Yeah. It's been used with so much frequency, I think, because it is the great statement about motivation and about productivity. It is a statement that can grab you by the throat and move you. Move you. It can establish a mindset, if not now, then when? And then it makes you act. Do something. Now I heard this phrase, I think the first time, when it was an album title from the Motels. You learn a lot about my background, and also of course it was a lyric for Tracy Chapman as well. So what I'm going to do today is acknowledging this rather complicated history. I want to activate this phrase, I want to action this phrase, and I'm going to offer 10 suggestions to you for you today to make some decisions, to live in your present. Come on. Come on. Occupy the now. Live your now. Let's do this. 1. Easy one. Pick a 5-minute task. Have you ever noticed that the people who seem to get the least done have the longest to-do list? Or is that just me? So these crew, bless them, plan and plan and plan and plan, And and the planning becomes the actual work, right? Now, if this is you, hi. I've known a lot of these great people. They're fantastic people. They plan a lot. And I'd like to offer a suggestion to you. If you've gone, oh, I'm the person, I colour code the planner and I organise it and I move the bits around and it looks pretty. If that's you, I'd like to offer a suggestion to you, because you're going to have to do something, right? Because the planning's not working. So I've got to do something to plug you into your now, rather than planning on stuff that you actually really know you're never going to do it and it's never actually going to happen, because the planning is taking all your time. So the first step is always the hardest, as I think we know. And the best strategy to start is, and this is it, pick a small task, small job, small little gig, small gig. Pick it. Start, finish. So the moment that you're doing your planning and you find one of those 5-minute tasks, the short task, then you know what? Stop your planning right there, mate. Stop your planning. Stop. There's the task. Do it. Here's a task. Do it. This means you have to select a task, isolate a task, start and finish it. Now, if we need to activate a powerful now, this is the singular way to do it. Small task, start, finish. Wow, you've just changed your now. No thoughts, no excuses, no, oh look, I'll just make myself a cup of coffee. Nah, no colour coding of the genres of your tasks to complete, as a friend of mine does. Isolate the task, start the task, finish the task, acknowledge that you've done the task. Cool. Right, you have just changed your now. Brilliant. Now pick another task. 2. Oh yeah, work out your best when. What is your best time of the day? We all have those peak times, all of us. My peak time, and there's not even a debate about it, is from 2 a.m. to 4:45 a.m. That is my peak time. And that's when I do my research. That's when my writing takes place. Now, at other times, I might read, I'll do emails, I have all my meetings during the working day, and I read and draft students' work, often in the afternoon and in the night. Now, one of the reasons that you, me, all of us procrastinate, we delay, we muck about, we make a cup of coffee, is because we can't isolate our peak time and then use it. So you know what, for the next week, track your days. And all you're really tracking is, you're not planning, you're tracking. When are you at your most focused? When do you feel at your best, ready to rumble? When is that you? And therefore what you need to do, once you've discovered that magical time, and it might be an hour, you need to plug your most difficult, important work into that hour. Map the tough and intense work into your most productive time. Incredibly simple, amazing how few people do this. So they've got this peak time and people are scrolling through Instagram. They think they're doing a search for their thesis, they end up buying shoes. So the peak hour matters. We all know that we can do more in one of those peak hours than in 6 hours in a non-peak time. So you know what, work out that time and make it the now for you. 3, make sure your when is located in a where. Now, tough one this one for a lot of people. Great work at its best and its easiest happens in comfortable, controllable environments. Environments that have a door. So if you can create silence, privacy and comfort, then work and innovation can emerge. Now, as we all know, in a crowded, heavily interrupted space, you're simply fighting the context. And by the way, one of the reasons, there are many reasons, that we're running the vlog in my house very early on Saturday mornings for the last little bit. The reason was, when I was recording them pretty early in the workplace, the door would be knocked on, right? And there'd be lots of interruptions and interventions no matter what I did. I just couldn't stop the interruptions. So therefore I thought, right, well, while everything's calming down, I'll work out what space I have control over. And yes, that space is 4 a.m. on a Saturday morning. But that's a great example. It's much easier to do work if you're not being interrupted. It's more efficient. Now, technology is also a great problem, because think about your mobile phone. All those social media interruptions and, you know, those internet searches. We're back there again. The internet search, you think you're doing productive work, you're buying shoes, mate. You're buying shoes, right? Stop it. The greatest occupiers of the now, in my experience, have been the full-time parents, often in full-time work, doing a PhD. And those parents have been successful using very, very clear strategies. Firstly, all the successful students have done this, by the way, they've spent time with their kids and they explain their research to their kids in an age-appropriate fashion. Okay, they've done that, so the family is involved. Then they work in 30-minute bursts. Door closed, sign on the door stating that mum or dad or the parent will be available at this time, and often with a clock with the arrows on the particular time. And at that point, the interruptions can then begin. So for all the students who have trialled this type of mode, they finished their thesis in these 30-minute bursts. It is inspirational. Also, please note that different types of environments are suited to different types of work. Now, I know we would all love that quiet, isolated office, that great desk, and sometimes in life, we all know that's not possible. I've lived in enough temporary accommodations for years to know that sometimes that is just a dream. And you do have to construct a micro-where, a micro context that can make the now work. And I'll give you an example. A decade ago now, I think, just about a decade ago, I was doing a long commute from Manchester to Eastbourne, so from the northwest of England right to the southeast of England, the very tip of England. And it was a management job, and so there wasn't 1 minute available for my writing during that job that wasn't 2 a.m. in the morning or on the weekends. And I found a magical space that allowed me to finish my book, which was at that time Digital Wine, a book I still love very much. And let me tell you what happened. So for that 3-month period of that job, I was doing this nightmare commute. Now, many of us in our careers have had to do this, will have to do this, where we have to go ahead. We have to start a job before a house sells, or our partner is still with another job, the kids are still in another school, and you have to go ahead. So you are you're alone. You are alone in a pretty bad hotel room, and that's where you're managing this transitional time with often an absolutely dreadful commute. So for me, this commute was 1 flight and 3 trains, and about an hour in the airport waiting for the flight to take off. So that's a fair chunk of time. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to finish this book during this commute on a Friday night, every Friday night. And so I, to this day, when I think about Digital Wine, I associate the book with this commute, with how it was written. Now, during this time, I was alone with the book, had headphones on, I was in isolation, and you know what, I enjoyed the experience of writing. I used to look forward to it all week. I used to look forward to this commute because I'd get a chance to work on this book without emails, without interruptions. And to this day, I have such a big heart in relation to that book, I think, because I remember the joy of writing it, because once a week I was heading home, happy time, out of this dreadful little tiny hotel room to my house that was about to sell, and to my wonderful husband. So it was a happy experience, and it then made this happy experience purposeful and incredibly intense because I was finishing a book. And I did finish the book, by the way, in that 3-month period. So the isolation and the unusual context can also create the conditions to write with intensity. but you've got to claim and control the where to make the now meaningful. 4, cut away the nonsense. Cut away the nonsense. Put another way, just stop scheduling. I'm going to invent a weird word. Is it a word? Not sure. Unschedule. Unschedule. Put another way, say no a lot. Be hard on yourself. Are you one of those people that says, oh, I'm busy. I'm so busy. I'm busy. I'm busy. Now, are you really busy, or are you just occupying your time with nonsense? Seriously, have a good look in the mirror. Am I busy, or am I buying shoes on the internet? Look at your life. Seriously. Are you spending most of your life doing completely pointless stuff? Now, I'm not talking about fun stuff. Fun stuff's great. I'm not talking about stuff that gives you enjoyment. That's brilliant. But look at your schedule. Are you lying to yourself? Are you pretending that you're busy? If not now, then when? Create the space for many nows to be actioned. And make sure that the schedule is clear, so when an intense and important now emerges, you can say yes. Now, that includes, for example, pointless meetings, irrelevant conversations. Don't be a scheduler. Unschedule. Unschedule. Create a powerful now by committing to unscheduling. Wow, I hope this is a word. So also unscheduling your life stops procrastination. And that's number 5. Love and respect deadlines. Now, I thought this was fascinating when I was preparing for this vlog. Recent studies of procrastination, this is from 2017 on, right? Recent studies of procrastination have confirmed that procrastinators are not lazier than non-procrastinators. They just have different understandings of time. So these psychological studies have shown that procrastinators have challenges managing the distress caused by deadlines. Wow, that makes sense to me. And this is often called, by the way, task aversion. Now, as you may have worked out, this task aversion actually increases the distress and increases the procrastination. So live in the now, respect the now. And that begins, of course, with a respect for deadlines. A PhD has a deadline. A master's degree has a deadline. Grant applications have a deadline. Job applications have a deadline. Returning assignments to students, configuring curriculum, uploading those grades to Gradebook. Hello, deadlines. So if you cannot make peace with deadlines, you are in the wrong business, because you are going to live a stressful, distressing, gorged present. And you know what? You'll never actually end up being present in your present, because you're chasing your tail. What a way to live. And by the way, that's why almost all universities in the entire world have milestones. So once a year, we make students do a milestone. And you're thinking, oh, I'm doing a milestone, that's waste time, it takes me away from my thesis. It does the exact opposite. A milestone helps you do your thesis. It actually gets you to the deadline on time rather than deflects you from it. And firstly, the reason deadlines exist, the reason why milestones exist, is it gets students used to the pattern of academic life and the workplace, of stress, intense stress, and deadlines. But secondly, and most importantly, the milestones are a moment of great honesty for students and their supervisors. And by the way, that's why supervisors hate them as well, because their supervision is checked during a milestone. You can see what's happening. It's like, why are you checking me? Because I can. But milestones matter because they are the moment of micro-testing for your thesis. They're great because if an examiner's going to find something, isn't it better an assessor finds it in the first year? Yeah? So these milestones are preparing you, and they're also testing you. They're also scaffolding you to your thesis submission. Now, this is, I think, not tough to understand if you actually just take a step back and have a think about it. Do you really think if you go through 3 years only dealing with your supervisor, how are you actually going to know that this is of examinable quality if no one else has assessed it? Because as I often say, the one thing you can guarantee is your supervisor will not be your examiner. So how about you let people, assessors, have a look at it to help you and prepare you for examination. And of course, the students that delay the milestones, task aversion, are the ones that cannot get their research completed, the drafts done, the thesis delivered on the due date. If not now, then when? Live in your now, live in your today, respect the deadlines, and plan for the now. 6, change your language. Are you one of those people that uses words and phrases like, this is boring, it's boring, this is a pain, you're a pain, this is just too tough, this is stupid? Is that you? Please. Now, what you are allowing language to do for you is creating a catastrophe. So this is just a normal day. I mean, you're going, this is dreadful, this is boring. You are allowing a catastrophe to be created from daily life. Don't do it. It means that everyday normal stresses are rendered terminal. Now, we work in a university. We have the great privilege of working in a university. You are not tiling a roof in a 40 degree Australian sun, right? You are not doing that. That's a tough job. Try being an Australian tiler. Or, you know, you're not salting the roads in Aberdeen, Scotland at minus 18 degrees. You work in a university team. The language you use summons a reality. You create a reality through language. Now, if you are living in excuses, then you've actually excused yourself from a meaningful and purposeful now. If you want to create a passionate now, an important now, then realize that your daily research life is not a soap opera. Indeed, if you simply make a decision today to remove the word boring from your vocabulary, your life may change. So whenever you find yourself going bonkers over spilt milk, right? Stop yourself. Calm the fun. It's not a catastrophe. It's a PhD. Sort yourself out. 7, remember the long now. Those of us who cannot take the best opportunities in each day, so you cannot isolate your now and make it work. That group of people focus on the short-term gains, okay? So they get the pleasure of an Instagram content or a Facebook like, or wow, I'm going to sit and eat a tub of ice cream, right? So they're the people that have lost their now and they're just focusing on these micro moments of pleasure. If you really want to change your life, you have to focus on the long now today. Now, your long now begins this second, this minute, this hour, this day. But the consequences of what you decide to do in this hour will transform your now for years. So start to occupy your present, your now, with rigour and hard yakka, and you will create a more meaningful now for years. Stop the short-termism, think the long now. 8, oh yeah, you will never have time. You will have to make time. How often do you hear people, all people, students in particular, say, I've got time, haven't got time. Life lesson, no one has time. No one has time. More precisely, no one has time. Everyone has to make time. Unless you make time meaningful, success will never emerge. So recognise that time is precious. You do not have time. Time is loaned to you by death. So work out what you can make with this time. And that process can emerge through unscheduling, let's hope this is a word, saying no, planning, and valuing the long-term successes as much as the short-term pleasures. 9. Construct a leisure life and reward your powerful now. Now, I hate the phrase work and life balance. Always have. When people use it, I sort of glaze over and go, right, well, I'm just going to stop listening to you now. It's one of those phrases I go, yeah, nah, bye. Work and life balance. And I dislike it for a lot of reasons, but here's a couple. Firstly, because it's constructing a weird binary opposition, work and life. Like work is outside of life. Are you kidding me? Right? Work is part of life. And secondly, do you notice we've lost the word leisure from the conversation? So work and leisure. Now, I am a big believer in leisure, and I use it as a reward for exhausting and intense work. Now remember, leisure, recreation, to recreate oneself for work. Leisure recreation allows me to, yes, relax, but also freshen up, develop new ideas, new perspectives. Now, I don't have a lot of leisure, but I earn it, I acknowledge it, and I label it as leisure, and I treat it as a reward. So, for example, and I'm recording this early on a Saturday morning, I work all weekend. In fact, I work harder on the weekend than I do during the week, if I'm honest, because my days are filled with meetings. And so when I actually have to do the big and difficult jobs, the only time I can do them is on the weekend. And it can be pretty exhausting on my weekends. But I always make sure at about 3 or 3:30 p.m. on Sunday, I pack my bag for the next day. So I get everything organised for Monday, that's great. And then I have leisure time. I immerse myself in something. It might be a film or a documentary, it might be listening to music, it might be going for a beautiful walk somewhere. And I structure and I organise leisure and I call it leisure, and I do not allow it to bleed into deadlines and work. Now, I enjoy it more so that leisure becomes actually a reward and can provide a full stop for your working now and allow a leisured now to emerge. Make sure you've got both words in your week. 10. Claim your now and don't judge the past. Here we go. Now, I've seen students, I've seen great friends of mine change their life in 30 seconds. Because they have made one decision. One decision can give you that now. They made a decision to change their lives. It might be they made a decision to change where they worked, change their research project, or indeed get out of or into a relationship. So those 30 seconds changed their life. Now, we can all sit in our now, horrified at our behaviour in the past. All of us can do that. You know, we look back on our former selves and think, what was I thinking? Or you know, you just look at, gee, I was lazy. Wow, I was lazy. Wow. Now, whenever you have people, and you might find it in yourself, say, oh Jesus, I should have started earlier. That always frightens me when someone says, I should have started earlier, eh? Like, yeah. Or, you know, I'm a loser. I'm a loser. I'm a waste of space. If you start using those phrases, or a mate of yours does, stop them. Because those sort of phrases mean that you are harshly judging your past. Now, harshly judging your past, gee, I'm a loser, harshly judging your past is completely pointless because you can't change it. But what you're doing by using these phrases is not only is it silly because you can't change the past, but you're actually destroying your present. By using these phrases, you're destroying your now. Because you're bitter and you're angry and you're confused about something you can't change. If you decide today, to live your big now, let's do it. We're here. We're in the now. Think about it. What can you do today to improve your PhD? What can you do today to make this now of your PhD meaningful? How can I improve this article today? That's my job for today, by the way. One of my jobs of the day. Got an article. How can I improve this article now? What can I do to enhance my writing? What can I do to enhance my writing? Make a decision. Do you need support? Do you do a MOOC about academic writing? Make a decision. Decide, and then get on with it. Don't be drawn to your post now. Don't be drawn to the past. It's gone. Draw a line under that time. It's gone. Live in the now. Make a decision now. Now. And make a decision to work and live the rest of your life with colour and power and intensity. Don't be drawn back to a past. It's gone. It's gone. Don't celebrate a future that'll probably never happen. Give me a good now. Give me a good now. And a good now has nothing to do with perfectionism, nothing to do with all or nothing. I don't want perfectionism. I don't want the binary opposition of success and failure. And that's why we finished the failure trilogy here. Because we are here now. We are right here now. And in this now, the decisions that you make now could lead to success, could lead to failure. We don't know. But what we do know is the decisions you make in the now will create a future determined by you. So today, now, make a decision to act. Make a decision for action. Make a decision for momentum. Because your story starts here. Now. Not someday. Today. And if not now, then when? So make it a great now. I wish you love, light, and peace. Tea out.